Business Games, Episode 4, Servant Leadership.
Welcome to the official Business Games vlog, hosted by business influencer Marco Peterson. In these sessions, Marco links together sport and business to provide strategies, tactics, tips, and game plans on running your business more effectively. Years of business experience combined with the proven methodologies of the alternative board. These vlogs form a valuable source of knowledge for any business owner. And what better way to highlight the strategies needed to succeed in business than by referencing sport? So let's suit up and get into this episode of Business Games with your host, Marco Peterson.
Good day, business fans, and welcome to the fourth episode in this series, Servant Leadership. I'm your host, Marco Peterson. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel below so that you don't miss an episode. One of my passions is the sport of tennis. I've played tennis most of my life for the pleasure and competitive aspects of this great sport. Another passion is business. I love learning new ways of doing business or running organizations more effectively through my engagement with clients and colleagues. So, it's of course absolutely necessary that I link these two passions in an episode of Business Games. In this episode, I'm going to focus on the tennis serve. In tennis, the serve is where every point starts. The server will construct a point in his head before sending down the first serve. The first serve puts the player on the front foot and keeps the initiative with the server, and so they control the point. A great serve goes a long way to winning a point. In business, it's the leader that puts the organization on the front foot. They need to take the initiative. Being a leader is about serving others. It's about showing the way so that others learn and follow. Leaders map out the road to success, like the tennis player plans the point before the first serve. In tennis, an ace is a great feeling and wins the point without expending more effort getting into a rally with the opponent. For a business leader, the ACE is achieved through the following acronym: ACE. Authentic leadership, C, consistency, E, excellence. Serving in business comes down to being a servant leader. So what does it take to be a servant leader? Servant leaders share a common set of core characteristics. Follow these 10 principles to put servant leadership to work with your team. Listening. Listening is at the heart of servant leadership. If a team member's talking, give them your full focus and attention. No interruptions allowed. It's a simple way to make your team feel valued so they know you care. Number 2, empathy. A lot goes into empathy, but when it comes to servant leadership, it basically comes down to getting to know your team. Find out what makes them tick and learn their strengths and their weaknesses. That way, you can let your team members shine and maybe even help them turn their weaknesses into strengths. Number 3, healing. Some team members may come to you from a previous job that had a really toxic work environment, and you have the privilege to help them heal. Don't worry, it's not as hard as it sounds. Healing is as simple as creating a healthy working environment that has work-life balance built into it. It's also about giving people the tools they need to succeed so they feel like a valued member of the team. 4, self-awareness. I've already mentioned the importance of understanding your team's strengths and weaknesses, but it's just as important to do a little self-reflection of your own. Take inventory of your own strengths and weaknesses and figure out how you fit into the overall team. Then use yourself in ways that benefit the team and the company. Recognizing your own limitations can help you see the opportunities to leverage your own team's strengths more clearly. Plan to be a better leader. It's much easier to serve as a leader when you can see the big picture of where work is heading. Number 5, persuasion. Slick sales tactics may come to mind when you think of persuasion, but that's not what we're talking about here. Servant leaders use persuasion to build consensus and get buy-in from their teams. That way, everyone feels like they have a stake in the team's success. 6. Conceptualization. You've got to know where you're going as a leader and a company. After all, how else will you carve a positive path for your team? It's your role to create the strategy, goals, and direction for the teams. Get team buy-in during this creative stage. Number 7, foresight. Another key characteristic of servant leadership is taking the knowledge you've learned in the past and applying it to the future so you and your team can continue to grow. Project postmortems or retrospectives are a great tool for figuring out what worked and what didn't, so you can fine-tune your process with each project. You can also use stewardship. Stewardship is simply leading by example. It's your job to set the tone for your team, so don't ask people to do things you wouldn't do yourself. Sometimes you need to roll up your sleeves and get stuck in. Show the way, don't tell the way. Number 9, commitment to the growth of people. If you want your team to grow, you've got to invest in people. One simple way we do this is by providing an annual budget so team members can develop the skills they need to thrive in their roles. Conduct 360-degree performance reviews each year. As a leader, you can only see so much. A 360-degree review brings peer and even direct report feedback into the process so you have a more complete picture of performance and can identify meaningful opportunities for growth. Alright, lastly, number 10, building community. Teams who trust each other work together to get more done. That's why it's important to cultivate relationships among your team. Building time for fun with the team building and ad hoc social events will get the team bonding. It's worth the investment. I just want to thank Team Gantt for their excellent article on servant leadership, which I referenced today. The link to this material is in the description of this video. In tennis, the double fault is a shameful event. You have given away a free point to your opponent. I liken the double fault in tennis to that boss that barks orders and has the opinion of it's his or her way or the highway. This type of leader, or rather boss, is not healthy for an organization as it breaks down morale and takes the initiative away from the organization. These organizations are slow to react to change because staff are not creative and motivated. Servant leaders know there's always more to learn, and that's where I can be of assistance. I work with growth-minded business leaders to help them run their businesses more effectively, thus delivering greater success to themselves and their organizations. Be this through my one-to-one accountability sessions with executives, my peer advisory boards where we tap into the knowledge of other business owners, or my strategic workshops and software. Okay, on to the quote for this episode of Business Games. Roger Federer is a great role model for the sport of tennis. He's well respected both on and off the court for his etiquette and gentlemanly ways. But it was not always this way. Early in his career, Federer could be seen throwing his racket, shouting on court, and showing off his temper. Part of his huge success was when he turned his attitude around. And so I quote, "I've always been aware that the image you patiently construct for an entire career can be ruined in a minute. It scares you a bit, but that's the way things are." End quote. This quote of his has stuck with me as a reminder to be the best leader I can be all the time. That's it for this episode, business fans. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and share with your network. Till next time, cheers for now.
Thank you for joining us. We are looking forward to hosting you again soon. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and share these sessions with your network. This episode of Business Games was proudly sponsored by Tiger Consultants, Payroll Bureau,